So this guy's gotten pretty popular lately. And by popular lately, I mean in the One Piece world, as Buggy's been popular for a while now in our world. But in the wonderful world of One Piece, Buggy's gone from East Blue's very own Pennywise to the Yonko of Yonkos. Therefore, I think one can say he's been pretty lucky, right? I mean, he was lucky enough to become a subscriber to The Blank Face, the free channel giving access to great content and fun times. I think you all should take a bit of Buggy's luck and sub too. You should be like Buggy. Because this Rudolph of One Piece was lucky enough to be an apprentice on the late and great Gold D. Rogers ship. That's about as lucky as you can get. Or is it? It was in fact on this very ship that Buggy lost his ability to swim, and apparently he was a really good swimmer. Maybe even better than Shanks. He also lost his famed treasure map at the same time. That's a 2-in-1 for bad luck. So maybe being a member of the Pirate King's crew isn't so lucky. So we'll put 1 in the lucky bin and 2 in the unlucky bin. By the way, we'll have these bins, and whichever is higher at the end of this video, lucky or unlucky, we'll know which one Buggy actually is, lucky or unlucky. Now let's continue some number of years to the East Blue, where after Buggy's defeat to Luffy, we find our lovable clown adrift, doing his very best to avoid the many fish trying to eat him. But he makes it to an island intact, so maybe we can consider that this one was lucky. He then tried to catch a large bird to eat, but ended up getting eaten by said bird's mom or dad, I don't know, then regurgitated because he tasted bad, probably due to the lack of showers considering he was adrift and seawater is not sufficient for a bath, guys. So 1 lucky and 1 unlucky. Then he got back on the raft, only for it to get destroyed, only to be saved by Alvida, only to then form an alliance with her, only then to reunite with his crew. So that's about 1 unlucky and 3 luckies if you've been keeping up, with Lucky taking the lead at 6-4. Then our Rudolph of One Piece arrives with his crew and alliance to Logtown, and he finds a way to sentence Luffy to execution, to which Luffy accepts? So lucky there, but then he's immediately struck by lightning, so unlucky. Then they're all captured by Smoker, only to swiftly and accidentally be released by Dragon, so a 1-in-1 again. He then went to some random island on the Grand Line looking for treasure, only for it to be the wrong island and put to work by miners, so another one added to unlucky. Also, how do pirates get put to work by miners? Moving on, we find out during Amazon Lily arc that Buggy did indeed get captured by the Marines and imprisoned in Impel Down, so we can count that one as an unlucky. And with that, we're tied 8-8 and headed to Impel Down, which has enough content for a video all on its own, but we'll briefly go through it. He attempted to escape and failed, unlucky. He found Luffy, lucky. He attempted to ditch Luffy, but ended up falling down to level 2 anyway, so unlucky. He ran into Gaudino and formed a pact, so lucky. He ends up in level 3 despite trying to escape, unlucky again. Then he finds number 2, lucky, but he ends up in level 4, unlucky. He then loses to Hannibal, unlucky again, but then he's freed by number 2, so lucky. And then gets back up to level 2 and frees the prisoners on level 2 to reach level 1, so lucky. He then encounters the jailers, but is saved by Luffy and Luffy's impromptu crew, and is freed from Impel Down, making him lucky again. That was a lot, but the luck has overtaken the unluck, 14-13. So let's move on to Marineford, starting with him convincing the prisoners that he opened the gates of justice, giving him a lot of street cred. Lucky. He then falls off the massive frozen wave into the water but is saved by Jinbei. Lucky again. He wants to run from Kizaru, but the prisoners mishear him and admire him for his bravery. Lucky. He then gets caught in Crocodile Sandstorm and is then used by Luffy to block Mihawk's attack. Unlucky. But his devil fruit saves him, so lucky. But then he does get hit by his own buggy ball, so unlucky. Then he's frozen by Aokiji, another streak of unluck, but then he's frozen by Akainu. And finally he banters with Shanks, getting more praise for it, making him lucky again. And that's it for Marineford, and the clown's looking rather lucky, being ahead 20-16, but will this luck hold up upon entering the new world? So first, he becomes a warlord, lucky. He then loses the giant pirate to the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, unlucky. He loses his warlord status, unlucky. But then he's saved by a crocodile when the Marines come knocking on his doorstep. So, lucky. Only he's nearly killed by his savior, Crocodile. Unlucky. He then makes a deal with Crocodile, making him lucky, but his supporters make the most terrible flyer in the history of flyers, making him unlucky. But because of that flyer, he becomes a Yonko, making him lucky. But because he became a Yonko, he's nearly killed by Crocodile and Mihawk, making him unlucky. But then after a discussion, he's saved by Mihawk, sort of, making him lucky. And finally, he's made slave to Crocodile and Mihawk, ending it off with the final dose of unlucky. So, what's the consensus? Buggy, the red-nosed clown, is indeed lucky. However, it's not without a substantial amount of bad luck to go alongside it. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Is Buggy lucky or unlucky? And don't forget to like and subscribe. I've been the Blank Face, and I'll see you in the next one.